There's one skill every luxury travel advisor needs to develop if they want wealthy travelers to work with them. Most new travel advisors think it's destination knowledge, that you need to impress them with how much you know about travel. They worry about getting quizzed on which hotel has the best rooms in Florence or whether the dry season in Costa Rica is really dry. After all, why would a client want to work with you if you're not an expert in that destination? Or if you don't have any years of experience? But here's the truth. Whether you're brand new to this business or an industry veteran, a client chooses to work with you for one reason: trust. They trust that you're going to provide them with the trip they're dreaming about. But how you build that trust is the key. That trust is rarely, if ever, built on the facts that you know about the destination. It's built on something most people completely overlook. And this is true for even the experts who've been in the business a long time. They may know everything about the destination, every hotel, how to get the best reservations at the most sought-after restaurants. But those things aren't why their clients are booking with them. If they're successful in this business, they're doing something else, even if it's unconsciously. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. So I've trained hundreds of advisors over the years, and some of the most successful ones started with no travel experience at all. Meanwhile, I've seen people who have traveled the world extensively struggle to book a single client. And the difference? It was never about what they knew. It was about how they showed up. So today, I'm going to break down exactly how to build trust quickly with clients, even if you're brand new to this industry. Because once you understand this, you'll have the confidence to sell travel to anyone. So let me show you the difference between what most advisors do and what the successful ones do. Most advisors think the job is to be helpful. Answer questions, provide information, give the client what they ask for. And look, being helpful isn't bad, but it's not enough, because that's what an order taker does. A client says, "I want to go to Italy in June," and the order taker says, "Great, here are some options." Order takers get ghosted. They send a quote, the client says, "Thanks, let me think about it," and then silence. Then they find out a couple of weeks later the client took what they gave them and booked it somewhere else. They're stuck chasing people, wondering what went wrong, feeling like they're constantly trying to prove themselves. A trusted advisor does something different. A trusted advisor guides the decision-making process. So instead of just answering questions, they ask better questions. Instead of presenting a menu of options, they make recommendations. Instead of waiting for the client to decide, they lead. And when you do this right, clients stop second guessing. They stop price shopping. They start coming back year after year and referring their friends. You get texts from clients that say, "I trust you, whatever you think is best." And that's not an exaggeration. That's what happens when you build trust the right way. So, how do you actually do it? So there are 3 levers that build trust with clients. These are the things that successful advisors do, whether they realize it or not. And once you understand them, you can do them intentionally from day one. The first lever is asking the right questions. So here's something that surprises a lot of new advisors. Clients aren't paying you to describe options. They're paying you to interpret, to take what they tell you and translate it into the right recommendation. But here's the thing. You can't give a great recommendation if you don't truly understand what the client wants. And most clients don't actually know how to articulate what they want. They'll say, "We want to go to Italy," but they won't tell you that what they really care about is having downtime between activities because they're exhausted from work, or that their teenager is a picky eater and they're already stressed about finding the right restaurants. So your job is to ask the questions that uncover what really matters to them. Not just, "Where do you want to go?" but "What does a perfect day on this trip look like for you?" Not just, "What's your budget?" but "What would make this trip feel worth every penny?" And when you ask the right questions, 2 things happen. First, the client feels heard. They feel like you actually care about getting this right. That alone builds trust. But second, you now have what you need to get a great recommendation. Because here's the secret. You don't have to have been everywhere. You have access to supplier partners and destination specialists who have deep expertise in their regions. They can tell you exactly which lodge, which hotel, which experience is right for this client. But they can only do that if you ask your client the right questions first. When a client asks about safari lodges in Tanzania, you don't need to have personally stayed at every one. In fact, you don't even ever have to have been on safari. You just need to understand what your client values. Connect with the right specialists, share those details with them, and then come back with a clear recommendation. So based on what you told me about your family, I'd recommend this lodge, and here's why. So that's point of view. That's what clients pay for. And it all starts with asking the right questions. And then the second lever is process confidence. One of the fastest ways to build trust is to show clients that you have a system, that you've done this before, that there's a method to how you work. Even if you're brand new, you can communicate your process clearly. And when you do, clients relax. They stop worrying about whether you know what you're doing because they can see that you do. So here's what this sounds like in practice. Hi, Mr. Smith. Here's how I work. First, we'll have a conversation so I can understand exactly what you're looking for. Then I'll put together a custom proposal with my recommendations, and then we'll have a chance to go through it and make any adjustments needed. And once we finalize the details, I'll handle all the booking and confirmations. Then 2 weeks before the trip, I'll send you a complete itinerary with everything you need. And of course, I'm here for any questions you have along the way. And that's it. You just told them what to expect. You showed them the steps. And now they trust you more than they did even 30 seconds ago. Clients don't need you to have 20 years of experience. They just need to feel like you're not going to drop the ball. Process confidence gives them that feeling. And then the third lever is protection. So luxury clients aren't just paying for a nice trip. They're paying to avoid problems. They're paying for peace of mind. They want to know that if something goes wrong, someone has their back. So your job is to make them feel safe. How do you do that? Well, you anticipate problems before they happen. You show them that you're thinking about the things that they haven't thought about yet. For example, I noticed there's a national holiday during your trip, which means some of the shops and attractions will be closed. Let me adjust the itinerary so that day works better for you. Or that restaurant you mentioned only takes reservations 3 months in advance and books up quickly. So I'll make a note in my calendar so we're first in when they release those bookings. Or even, we need to make sure that every hotel knows about your daughter's food allergies. I'm going to confirm that directly with them all beforehand so it's not left to chance. So these are small things, but they add up and they communicate something powerful. I'm looking out for you. And that's protection. And when clients feel protected, they trust you completely. And the best part is that it's your suppliers who help you with these. So it's not like you have to know everything about that destination. Okay, let's recap. 3 levers that build trust. 1, ask the right questions so you can give the right recommendations. 2, show them your process so they feel confident you won't drop the ball. 3, protect them by anticipating problems before they happen. Do these 3 things and you'll build more trust in one conversation than many advisors build in months. Now you might be thinking, sounds great, Dean, but I've never booked a trip for a paying client. How am I supposed to do this? Here's what I want you to understand. You've already done this. And maybe not professionally, but you've done it. Think about the last trip you planned. Maybe it was the family vacation where everybody had different opinions about it. Or the bachelorette party where you had to coordinate flights and hotels and restaurants and activities for 8 people with 8 different budgets. Or even your last road trip. You were the one who figured it out. You were the one who made the decisions. You were the one everyone looked to when things got complicated. That's the instinct. That's the foundation. What you're adding now is the system, the structure, the professional framework that turns that natural ability into a business. You're not starting from scratch. You're building on something that's already there. And here's the other thing. When you're new, you actually have an advantage that experienced advisors sometimes lose. You're hungry. You're attentive. You're not just going through the motions. Clients can feel that. They can feel when someone genuinely cares about getting it right. And that matters more than you might think. So don't let inexperience hold you back. Let it motivate you to be better prepared, more thoughtful, and more intentional than advisors who have been coasting for years. And if all of this is resonating with you and you want to see how our students go from zero bookings to becoming high trust advisors that clients come back to year after year, I break down the full system inside our free training. I'll walk you through exactly how the luxury travel industry works, how advisors actually make money, and what it takes to build a real business doing this. It's no fluff, it's no hype. It's just a clear picture of what the path looks like. So there's a link below if you want to check it out. And if you're enjoying this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you're notified when new videos come out. Look, becoming a luxury travel advisor isn't about faking confidence or pretending to know things you don't know. It's about showing up with the clear process, asking the right questions, and showing your clients that you're looking out for them. That's it. That's what separates the advisors who struggle from the ones who build something real. I want to help you build something real.